I still have my squeaky chair that I didn't WD-40. So crap. Hey, what is happening, Fishing friends? Welcome to another live episode. I'm excited tonight because I'm not riding solo. Randall didn't ditch me for his girlfriend. MrBass hopped on. He's smarter than I am, already telling me how to run stuff on my end. Thank goodness. So I am happy tonight. Let me know in the comments, are we working? I always want to make sure. I don't want to be talking for 15 minutes and have it be not working. We got a what's up, Mr. Bass from Matthew, so I'm guessing people can see you. And
yeah, cool. What up, Matthew, the swim bait king?
Woo, here we go. Oh, is that the same Matthew, the swim bait king?
Yes, that dude.
Oh my gosh,
that dude is a swim bait fanatic, and I mean, I don't know how the boy can afford all the baits he buys, man. Grinding them 2 jobs. All right, we're good to go. Yo, everything's working. All right, awesome. What is happening, Fishing friends? So, you know me, you know Randall, Mr. Randizzle. Randy, how are you today?
Oh, living the dream. Other than I just figured out there was a fly in here with me, so if I get distracted real quick, don't worry about me. I'm fine.
Yeah, you probably didn't see. I don't know if you watched my last solo one, but there was a fly. I had been out. Was I fishing or I just got done mowing the yard and there was a fly in here and I was all sweaty and literally the whole time it kept just attacking my face. It was horrible. So we got me.
Was it like the time you had a tick?
Oh no, that's awful. Me, Dizzle, and then of course, whoops, Mr. Bass. I was just on his channel. I said, dude, I need to have you on. What are you doing Saturday? Boom, we set it up. There he is.
Yeah, I'm glad you did, man. Appreciate it.
For sure, dude. Glad to have you on. So tonight, I didn't even get a chance to prepare and really go through a whole bunch of stuff. I see a whole bunch of supporters in here, people that I recognize. I see Jim, Tackle Junkie, just jumped in. What's up, brother? I saw Nick, Fat Boy Fishing, Matthew. We got Fishing with Gramps, I saw. My boy Chris Russ. We got all kinds of good people. So thank you all. Looks like we already have 100 people jumped in. Y'all are awesome. I'm excited tonight to talk fishing. So I think we'll just do a couple quick updates on some stuff because I think Matthew will like my quick story from today. But first, since we have a guest, Mr. Bass was nice enough to join us. I mean, I'm saying beforehand, I'm already jealous of his background. His looks so much more professional and freaking cool than mine. I need to get an artist to just do a backdrop where I can pull the screen down behind me so it looks cool.
Green screening, man. This is just a green screen. There's nothing back here.
No. I saw you picking off sweet pre-wrap warts back there and swim baits and all kinds of cool stuff. So
yeah.
Oh, we got a Chris Russ at Go Hawks. Yeah, another Hawk victory. Let's go Hawks. That was a good game to watch. So for those folks in the channel, and I kind of talked about this when we were you and I were live. It's cool that I see so many different, supporters in all of our channels, like whether I'm on Jim's or Bass Geek or you or Alex Rudd or, Back to the Basement, all these channels. And I see people supporting all of us. And to me, that's always something I like to call out because we all appreciate it. I've said it before. There's enough room for everybody to grow. Even if it's somebody that hates me and hates my channel and they're another fishing YouTuber, there's enough room for everybody to grow. So, focus on the people that support you, the people that are good. Try to bring them up and try not to focus on bringing other people down. There's already enough of that out there. So
absolutely.
That's cool. Just want to get that out. But Mr. Bass, so for folks that don't know you, what's your 30-second elevator speech? What are you about? How'd you get started? Sell us the Mr. Bass YouTube channel. And I don't know if I said that, but he's got a YouTube channel too, folks. That's
that's kind of how I got started was YouTube. And I still don't know why I did it, to tell you the truth. I kind of scratched my head and why the heck did I do this? And why am I doing this? But this kind of stuff is part of the reason I really have so much fun with the community and love all the guys. Just like you said, all these people, it just blows me away. Like you said, no matter how many channels you go to, there's so many of these people are everywhere and they're spending so much time and energy supporting us. And man, that really means a lot. And then when you have someone that says, hey, I just learned how to do this, or I just figured this out thanks to you, man, that's really what it's all about. That's what makes it fun. It's like you said on my show, you're not going to get rich if YouTube, and if you're doing it for money or glory or fame or anything like that, boy, you picked the wrong deal. But I'm like most of these guys. I'd say I just love fishing, and I was out there before YouTube making my own videos and stuff, and I don't know what I did with them. I didn't have any place, no place to put them anywhere, but I was doing it. And I enjoyed going back and watching the catches and that kind of stuff. And so that's it. You know, I'm just kind of, as Randizzle says, I'm just kind of living the dream. I'm fishing. I'm enjoying fishing. I like fishing, and I've got a kayak. I got a bass boat. I love fishing from the bank. I've got access to a lot of farm ponds and stuff like that I love to fish in. Ooh. I've got one particular farm pond that my brother's property that he let me stock. It's only got bass and bluegill in it, and I'm trying to grow big bass in there. And yeah, so and then I do some tournament fishing, mostly just to explore new waters and find new places to fish. So do
you go as boater or co?
Co. I go as a co.
See, that's what I would like to do. Like if I ever did tournaments, people ask me about that, and just to get like random people and hope that they're like they know what they're doing. It's not their first time. But to get other people and learn from them and like, what are you doing? What do you like?
Yeah, I've learned tons, especially like, for example, when I went up north to Lake Champlain and Lake St. Clair and the St. Lawrence River and the Potomac River. Those are so different than the waters I fish down here. I mean, it's like night and day. I mean, we don't have smallies down here. And I knew, well, I could go up there and fish for the day, but what do I know about catching smallies? Or, well, I've done this enough through the years behind guys that know what they're doing. I've really learned a lot about how to fish for smallmouth now.
Yep.
Same thing. I always wanted to fish the Delta. I think to myself, am I going to go 26 hours or, a 4-hour flight, take all my gear out there and then try to figure the Delta out? I mean, right. Yeah, I could do it after a few weeks, but why not go fish behind somebody? And that's what I've done. And it's just been a great experience. I highly recommend that. If you ever want to get into any kind of tournament fishing, one of the best things you can do is get a few guys, like, come down and go with me and my group of guys. Sometimes we all stay together. We all share techniques with each other.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome.
That's a blast.
Just nerd out and talk fishing.
Yeah.
You're how far south are you? Because you're down in Missouri, so you're south of me.
Yeah, I'm northwest Kansas City.
Oh, that's right. Yep, we did say that. Okay.
Oh,
yep. So you're down TJ's way. You're probably not too far from Jim then. Jim's just hop, skip, and a jump from Kansas City, I believe.
There's a lot of good fishing here.
Yeah, you got the Ozark. You got what else? Table Rocks down that way.
Yeah,
that's where Jim goes quite a bit. Is Table Rock for
there's a lot of good fisheries around here, and then there's some kind of crappy ones that you still can fish. Smithville Lake is one by Kansas City that it's better now than what it has been the last few years. But yeah,
we don't have a bunch of the great fishing spots here in Iowa. I guess we have the Mississippi. I'm scared of the river with my little 11-foot aluminum kayak. I would die and just scares the hell out of me. So
one thing that Missouri has is they've got a ton of little conservation lakes that the Department of Conservation manages and maintains, and they usually have fish in them, and they're great for kayaking. A lot of them you couldn't even put a boat in, or they have motor restrictions, but you can put a kayak in and have a great time. And then over on the Kansas side, there's a bunch of old strip pits, old mines that are now full of water. Yep. Now full of water and have a lot of good fishing in them.
Yep. Cool. Oh yeah, Michael City's closer to St. Louis. That's right. I'm sorry. St. Louis, Kansas City, it's all down there. Missouri, it's all the same to me. It's not
about 4 hours for me. Straight east.
All right. So as we're going through, if you fellas see any comments or questions pop in, feel free to hop in. It's very casual. We want to try to answer as many fun questions and such. But tonight, the loose agenda is fall fishing and or fall fishing gear. So I really didn't have time to put anything together. I figured we'd just kind of keep it open for them. I see, and I know you have a bunch of cool stuff back there. So what down in your area has been working? What have you caught some fish on or have confidence in, or even something that you're looking to try this fall, like as the water continues to drop? Because what are your water temps down there right now?
They're still fairly warm. Water temps are, still in the 70s.
Okay. Yep. Same here.
And the fishing's what I would call real fall fishing is not really even kicked in yet, but it's real close. I'm seeing balls of shad places now. I'm seeing some shad busting here and there in lots of locations. So it's time to start throwing the stuff. And what I'm going to go with more often than not is topwater first. That's what I'm going to throw. And my favorite topwater, I got some sitting around here. Let's see that I might show you.
I think if we got me, you, and Jim on through, gosh, I don't know. I think if you threw all of us on a live together, we could pretty much say any lure, and one of us would have it at our disposal.
It's probably true.
Hold on.
Like this Berkeley Jaywalker. This is a nice spook style lure, and this is the type of lure I'm going to start with, a walk the dog spook style lure. And this has a matte finish, and almost none of my spook type lures have a matte finish. They're all shiny, glittery, glossy. But this is a really cool matte finish, which is, I think, something a little different. They don't see. It has a good, nice rattle to it. I also like the Heddon one knocker. I've always got one of these tied on.
One of my favorites.
And that, that's definitely the deal. But do you usually go bigger or smaller starting out? I usually go smaller, but I don't go too small. But my tendency in fall fishing around schools of shad is I go smaller, because a lot of our bait fish, they're small. We don't have giants here like they do in parts of the world.
Yeah, it kind of depends on the lake. Like a sexy dog is one of my starting walking baits. But if it's kind of cooling down, or it's a smaller lake, like a Heddon, like the one knocker that you just had. Spook.
So this is the sexy dog, right?
Yep.
This is the junior.
No, that's the junior. Yeah. Sexy dog has three.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a good one for sure. The sexy dog. My buddy Joe's gotten me into smaller prop style topwaters and little different ones. Like, have you ever tried this one, by Heddon, the Spittin' Image?
Yeah, I've got a couple old ones, and I actually just grabbed one of the new ones on clearance at Gander. They had one left. Yeah. Yep.
This lure is frigging amazing, man. It really is a great little topwater lure. This is the bigger size. They have two sizes. This is the bigger size, and you can see it's only about 2.5 inches long, and the smaller one's even shorter than that. I don't have any of the small ones, but it's got a little BB in it, and the action it makes in the water. See how it's kind of narrow and skinny, unlike a spook that's, round. It's just something different that the fish don't see this very often. They see the spooks, they see the other stuff that most of the guys are throwing. So this might be something, you might want to try, guys. If you've never thrown this, my buddy Joe got me onto this, and man, he just wore me out. He had one of these, and I didn't have any of them. And so that's
always fun when that happens, because you're like, oh man, now I gotta get into one of those, dude. He was kind of like when Randy whoops my butt with a jig, like he did the other night, and caught 7 or 8, literally fishing in the same spot as me, to my nothing.
I told you where to cast. I walked away from the spot, and I said, see that right there? Cast, what was it, like 15, 20 feet out?
I didn't want to catch your pity fish. I wasn't going to fish exactly where you told me to. That was pity fish.
Julie, I don't know what the color is. Sorry. Julie's asking the color of this. It's got purple on the back. I don't know what the color's called. And then the side looks kind of sexy shad. It's white with kind of a yellow fin here and some yellow, and then white on the belly. Don't know what that color's called though. Sorry.
We got somebody was talking about the jackal bounty fish. I haven't got to try that yet.
I've never tried that.
Guy says Randizzle looks like he's watching TV. He is watching TV. He has the actual YouTube stream pulled up on his TV, so he can watch comments and stuff. Let's
Cool.
see. Oh, my guy Philip's in here. Philip's a great supporter of the channel. He said, I've forgotten about the spitting image. I'm going to go buy one. Yeah, I don't know where that old box is. I was just going over those with Baxter the Baitman a while ago, and it was some of the old Bill Dance.
Bill or Baitman says threadfin shad, so maybe that's the color. Maybe
Oh,
that's what
boom. Baitman's in here.
The dude knows his stuff.
Yeah.
My buddy Joe, though, this is what we'll do. If he gets a bait that I don't have, get one that he doesn't have, we know for a fact they're going to go get one. So if he's buying,
just buy two.
Yeah. So if he's by himself, he's not going to tell me for as long as he can, because he knows I'm eventually going to go get one. And I kind of do the same thing. I'm like, I got to keep this secret from him, because as soon as he finds out, it's over.
Yeah, see, I have to keep stuff secret from Randizzle because he catches more fish than me. So.
Joe catches more than me, too. The dude's amazing stick.
Debo, somebody was asking about my Instagram. I think it was Colin. Colin had a question for you.
I was on Dizzle's Instagram today. Saw a fish on there, Debo. Where's yours? Well, I didn't catch any. I caught a skunk. I took a picture of the sunset with a reel, and I was going to post that and didn't have time to. I was going to say, here's how my night went. Here's a pretty sunset in a reel.
I told you it would have been a good shot. You just had to lay down on the ground. No big deal.
My gosh. So before I forget real quick, and Randy, I'll let you go after me. I'll give you a second to think. So like a topwater that I want to use, I actually busted out the other night. Randy and I had, well, I shouldn't say we didn't have any luck. Randy had a bunch of luck on a jig. I didn't catch a single fish. And then right as we were getting ready to leave, I had to leave a little bit early. But everything started coming to life, and we saw a bunch of little bait fish, look like pike chasing, which I don't care. I'll take pike on topwater all day. I kind of spoil that for bass anglers. I think some people are kind of let down when I say that, but I'll take pike topwater over a lot of bass fishing. I'm sorry, like pike topwater is a load of fun.
Oh man, they are so violent.
Dude, like coming out, they'll breach and they'll hit stuff and you'll come completely out of the water. But I was throwing the Rapala, however you say it, tomato. Let me bring it up here. It's the balsa with the one prop in back, which I don't ever throw. I want to say skitter prop. Is it the skitter prop? Because I have the.
That sounds right. I
have the skitter pop, which has the little cup in the front. I think it's the skitter prop. I'll bring it up and share my screen here. Let me find it. If I had Jim Tackle Junkie on, he'd say, "Oh, I think I actually might just randomly have one." Sure, Jim. You have a whole bait wall behind you, and that's why we can't find any lures, because they're all on his wall, sold out.
I do have a Rapala XRap subwalk, which is kind of an interesting sub topwater.
Did it have? Did you find it, Debo?
Yep. Share screen here. Can you guys see it?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So right there. So this is one I saw. It's been a long time ago, and I've tied it on, I think, like twice ever. But there was an article. I think it might have been a Wired to Fish or something. Somebody sent me, and it's actually, this is the exact color I have here. But they said, if you usually in the fall, like a lot of guys throw the walking baits and poppers. I'm like, yeah, kind of the regular stuff. They said, try something like this. Try one of these little, I guess, bladed topwater deals, and you just kind of pop it. So it's like almost like a popper mixed with like a plopper, but you don't cast it and reel it. Yeah. I suppose you could, but everywhere I've seen, it's just, sharp little twitches, and it literally does. I wanted to get, and actually I should have footage of it. It looked just like the bait we saw hitting and spit. How they'll hit and be running away, and it'll kind of spit that little water. It looked just like that. So that's one I want to throw, because I feel like that thing should be money.
That lure looks like it would be awesome around the busting shad for sure. I've got a few prop style baits that I throw around this time of year too.
I don't ever really throw those, like a plopper, but that's kind of a whole different deal.
Yeah.
Let me go to Justin's real quick. So anybody that donates, I thank you all a ton. I never ask for donations or anything, but means a lot to me that you folks spend your money and time with me here. It'll go to giveaways, getting other gear, doing unboxings and stuff like that. So I thank you for that, Justin. He said, I'll catch the stream later tonight at work. Thought I'd drop a 5-bomb for you. Dizzle needs to get that Utila kilt that I told him about. Love you guys.
Utility kilt, sweet.
Dude, we need to get him.
Utility kilt.
It's it's essentially a kilt with a whole bunch of like tactical pockets, and it's almost like cargo shorts mixed with a kilt. And we need to get him one.
That sounds fantastic.
Randizzle and utility kilt would be like Batman mixed with Roddy Piper. So that's mine. How about you, Randall? What's your Roddy Piper's a wrestler? Were you questioning me on that?
Who was?
What? I don't know. You looked at me like anyway. What's your Topwater? Your Topwater pick for fall that you're looking to get into, or you want to throw? Or
honestly, I don't know. I mean, I'm the only Topwater I ever really throw is like a buzzbait or a frog. I have a couple of what were the ones with the 3 hooks, not the mini, the Strike King dogs. What are they called?
Sexy dog.
The sexy dog. So I've got a few of those. It just never feels like, I don't ever feel like I have them with me when it seems ideal to start throwing them. And I don't want to do like you did the other night and have to run through the gauntlet of mosquitoes to try to go get a tackle box full of Topwater that might work. So I don't know. I honestly, I'm gonna pass this one kind of back to you and just say, like, when you think it's good, just tell me something to kind of tie on, just because, just how what baits work best when. I know what colors they look like and how to kind of describe it to people. So
I've been known to tie one on, Randy.
Right?
Hey, my guy Brady in the house. Brady McDonald said, "Go Hawks." Brady's a good cat. Hope you're well, brother. Well, I can certainly do that for you, Randizzle. We can. I think we'll be getting on some Topwater here really, really soon. I'm excited. So, okay, so that's our Topwater. Do we see any good questions or anything in there? Anybody wanted to hit? I saw some sprinkers and other ones, like a plopper. A whopper plopper is a good one. I know Randy throws like the smaller Chapo. He's a fan of that.
Yeah.
You throw that one quite a bit. Okay, so I don't see anything else crazy.
Put a prop on a finesse jig. A Dizzle Topwater.
I mean, what was I trying to do the other night? It was a swim bag. It was a swim bait with a big paddle tail on the back of it. As you were throwing that Topwater on there, I was trying to burn that across the top of the water. I thought it looked appealing, and I wouldn't have been surprised had I got hit on it, but I'm sure I could figure out something for a finesse jig and some Topwater. Maybe get some balsa, introduce some balsa in there. Balsa
jig. Okay, so we got Ray with the donation coming in with the 5 bomb. Thank you very much, Ray. He said, "Do you have faith in the huge lures like the Roman Mother, and when do you actually catch fish?" Ray, I am not the guy to ask on that. I will give my story quick from today, though, however. I think Mr. Bass can certainly chime in because he's got some sick swim baits back there. So today I went out with my buddy Matt on his bass boat. We hit one of the local lakes. I was about 4 casts in, testing one of the new glide bait blanks that I got and painted up with a custom Debo job, custom Debo eyes. I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. Looks good in the water. Matt is a huge swim bait guy. That's why I wanted to get his take on some of it. He's like, dude, that looks awesome in the water. That looks like a much more a higher end glide bait. Like, yeah, this is awesome. I think on the 4th cast, deep, I'm like, oh, I just hit a log, and the log goes boom, and we're in a lake that's known to have 40-inch muskie. And I pull and get about 3 cranks in, and a very, very large muskie comes up and goes, throws my glide bait, and then flicks me off with his tail as he swims away. And I'm like,
oh my goodness. How big was it?
No idea. I mean, I just got to see the back half of it. I would guess, I don't know. You always guess them bigger. I would guess it was a 50-inch. I mean, it was I don't know. Maybe I would say high 30s to a 40. Like it was, because he's like, dude, I thought that was you snagged a carp when my rod boat over, because it was, it's the Lew's Super Duty. It's for calico bass, but it's rated for up to I think 4 or 5 ounce lures or something. Mm-hmm. And as soon as it hit it had me completely bent, and I got 3 casts in. I'm like, oh my gosh, game on, and then gone. But it gave me confidence. I threw it for about an hour.
Yeah.
And I was like, I got to find something else. Like, I was getting snagged on stuff. And I don't know the glide bait game enough to, like, I don't have that confidence yet. But it was really cool on one of my custom paints, like kind of just a generic shad. And he's like, dude, that thing looks great. So he already wants a couple. So I hope they can catch some fish. Well, how about you? So big glide baits, what is your take on big glide baits? I know we
I definitely believe in them. They absolutely do catch fish. The problem with them is, do you have the patience to fish them long enough to catch fish? And so what I would say is wait until the water's so cold that you're not catching anything anyway, and then tie one on and fish it all day long. I do have kind of a funny story about the Roman maid, not the mother. The mother's the big sucker, but the one below that's called the Negotiator. That's this one right here. And I've got several of these Negotiators. They're great, handmade, handcrafted wooden lures. They're fantastic. But I was a marshal back in when Brandon Polinick was on the BASS circuit, and at Table Rock Lake, and I got paired with him. And it was in the early spring, and you know, a marshal, all you do is you just ride along and you watch them fish. You're not allowed to fish, and you're not allowed to give them any tips or any. You're not allowed to help them. You just watch.
Can you like hassle them, like, oh God, you suck, I would have caught that one? Or
you could do that. Yeah, you could do that.
I found my job calling.
Yeah,
you could do that. I don't know.
You'd be good at
that. When I was with Matt Herron, I can tell you if I'd done that, he'd have just thrown me off the boat. But Brandon Polinick would probably let you get away with it because he's a pretty nice guy. But he fished in the morning. He fished a jerk bait. He fished a Cinco style bait. He fished some other lures, and he got his limit. And then he reached into his rod box and he pulled a rod out with this tied on, a different color, but it was this, and it was all beat up. And he said, and I looked at it and I said, holy crap, that thing's huge. What are you going to do with that? That was before I knew anything about any of this stuff. You know, it was years ago. And he said, this is my kicker bait. I'm going to catch my kicker fish on this thing. And I said, no, you're not. I said, I've been fishing Table Rock for years. I know lots of guys that fish down here. I've never seen anybody throw anything that big on Table Rock. And he said, trust me, it's going to work. And he went to a deep brush pile, threw this in, nothing. Then he went to the second deep brush pile, threw this in, caught a 6-pounder on it. Second cat, his second spot, he caught a 6-pound fish. That put him in like 9th place for the day. And I was like, oh my gosh, it does work. It really works. And it works on Table Rock Lake. I can't believe that. That is amazing. So, you know, if you got a pro where money's on the line, look at his Australian buddy who's married to his cousin or whatever. What's that guy's name?
Carl Jacobson or Jokison?
Yeah, Carl Jacobson. Go watch him. He when he's fishing professionally, he will throw those big glide baits out there. So does Zaldane. There's guys when money's on the line, they will still throw glide baits. So they definitely work, but it takes tons of practice. And I totally agree with you, Debo. It's really hard to stick with it if you don't have a ton of confidence. And, you know, the only way I can do it, and I've even got tons of them, the only way I can really do it is not take anything else on the boat. Because if I do, after an hour or two, I'm like, where's the chatterbait? I gotta throw something to catch some fish here.
Yeah, and if it that's the kind of the tough side of YouTube is I would be more to do that, and especially if I was full time. Like if I didn't have a full time job, I would do just that. And you're right. I would have to lock that in my hand and be like, listen, I've got one rod with 5 of these different swim baits, so I can switch swim baits, but I'm still fishing swim baits all day, you know. But it's like you get out there and I'm like, oh, I'm an hour in. I'm like, crap, I could be getting topwater. Topwater videos are really fun.
Yeah.
So I switched over through, you know, like a plopper, and I did a walk. Didn't catch a damn thing on topwater. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, like I literally went through the gauntlet of I think I can catch, I think I can catch, I think I can catch, I think I can catch. And I finally had the Ned rig out and I'm like, oh Lord, please let me catch something. I need a video. Like it was just so YouTube puts that extra like stress on you.
It does.
I need to get a video. And Randy and I joke about that because I'll be like, okay, Randy, like, okay, we've been doing good here. We've caught a few fish here. I'm like, if we can catch a few more here, this is a perfect video. Like it was funny. And then we can go here and catch some. And literally as soon as I get done saying that, most of the time, don't get a whole nother bite the rest of the day. And Randy's always like, damn it, Debo, you jinxed us again.
And now it's always like before he even has a chance to say it, I'll be like, all we need to do is catch 78 fish here at this one spot, 15 of those being double digit.
Yeah, some of those being 10 pounders.
It sounds like a great strategy.
Let's see, what else do we have here? Baitman's in the chat. Baitman, I'm going to be jumping over on his channel. He's doing an unboxing after this. So 9 o'clock YouTube live on the Baitman channel. If you nerds want to talk some more stuff, I might even have a surprise of some old lures to show on his channel that I just got today. So
awesome. That'll be fun to watch.
Riley with the $10 $10 to the Randy Kilt Fund. You can't run forever. Love the live stream, guys. What should I use to fish through all this dying grass in Florida? Well, Riley, I've honestly never fished Florida. However, around here in Iowa, which I would assume a lot of it's somewhat similar, not as much as you with being vegetation everywhere. But depending on how deep you're fishing, I know, the swim bait stuff in Florida is big, like your paddle tail swim baits, belly weighted. But I would say that the bigger thing is not necessarily what you're throwing, but as it's dying off, any of those patches of good green living grass, whether it be an edge, whether it be an isolated pile, any of that's actually still alive and holding bait fish. Actually, just on Alex's live stream last night, he had a fisheries biologist on and said, not enough people think backwards, right? So people think, how can I catch the bass? But, what is the pattern? But look at the bait fish. Look at what they're eating. If you see a bunch of bait fish in a good live green piece of grass, line or whatever, go to that stuff. Find the grass, find the bass is something we say around here when it starts dying off. So that would be my tip to you. Don't fish the old dead gross stuff. Try to find some of the good living green stuff with other life around it and focus there.
Heck yeah. Also, throw a Cinco. Cinco never fails around the grass in Florida.
I was going to say the only other thing to do is, regardless of what you throw, whenever you pull up some of that grass and stuff, try to make Debo smell it. He never will, but one of these days he will.
That's another one of Randy's cruel jokes. He always pulls up random grasses like, oh, this stinks. Smell it. Smell this one. I'm like, no, don't even smell it. Random grasses.
It smells really chemically. Smell it.
Hellabass in here. Rich, hats off to Rich. Rich is going to be fishing. When is that, Rich? He'll be fishing another tournament here soon. I need to get him back on after his second one. Hopefully he wins it and
he's like
goes
the
on.
Bass Nation champion in Minnesota or something, man.
Yeah,
he's killing it.
Hopefully he goes to whatever the national one is in whatever river, Quachita or some crazy thing up there. Rich, I'll have to get you on after that. Let's see some baits. Rich, that's going to be on Baxter's channel if you want to see some cool old stuff. I don't have anything cool here to throw or to show, I guess. Let's see. Let me see if I missed any other donations. Let's try to get through, and then we'll talk some more. Gosh, there's so many comments. I'm so far behind. Well, let's see. Let's first talk about. Okay, so Mr. Bass, we've gone topwater. You're not getting a topwater bite in the fall. What is going to be? And I think I might know the answer here. What is going to be your next kind of moving search bait that you have the most confidence in that you love to throw during the fall in your area?
Well, geez, there's several. Probably I'll start with a swim jig.
Oh, that's not what I thought you were going to say.
Yeah, probably I'll start with a swim jig, and then the chatterbait would probably be next.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah. And the only reason I start with the swim jig first is I usually try to start with a little more subtle first and see how well that works, and then if I need to bling it up or, you know, get a little more attention, then I will. And let's see. And then a spinner bait along with that. I've kind of got several of those here that I throw this time of year. Here's a nice little swim jig. I love a Rage Menace or a Menace style grub on the back of a swim jig. And I don't know if you can tell it, but one thing about this swim jig is it's white, but it's got a little bling in the skirt. You know, it's got a little flash-a-boo, if you will. And just that little bit of flash, I think, helps quite a bit when you're.
Do you pull your legs apart or keep them together?
I pull them apart. These are not pulled apart right now, but when I start fishing, I usually will pull them apart because I like that action. But the thing about fishing, trying to catch fish that are just inhaling big balls of shad, is you're trying to give them something just to get their attention, you know. And so that little bit of flash, I think, helps. And that's kind of what I got on the spinner bait. This spinner bait doesn't work for me a lot of the time of year. I don't throw it a whole lot until I get into the fall. And then in the fall, I throw this one quite a bit because it's got this bling on the blades. This is a Nichols. This is a Nichols. And then it's got bling in the skirt. You know, look at all that pretty.
Yep.
It's almost like tinsel on the old Christmas tree. And then I put a little Kitech on there, and that is a beautiful little schooling bait lure.
I like it. Yeah, spinnerbait. I'll just jump in. Spinnerbait's going to be mine. You all know that. That's been one of my confidence lures since I was just a wee little lad. Love slinging the spinnerbait. So that's definitely one that I'll be tying on and committing to here with confidence. And, you know, it's like we were just saying, you've got to lock it into your hands for a long time and learn where it works, when it works. And you just kind of get that mindset of, even if I'm not catching fish, I'm like, dude, you know, this is the right time. This is the right spot for it. And you can switch up, like you were saying, you can go to something a little bit more finesse, or, you know, if I'm around a bunch of wood and I just keep, you know, my spinnerbait's not come through it, or, you know, vegetation, you can make those subtle changes to, well, a spinnerbait is really nothing more than a swim jig with an arm and a couple blades on it, right? So I can take that arm and blades off, and you've got a swim jig, you know, or, well, I like this, but I'm, you know, around a bunch of grass and my spinnerbait baits keep getting gunked up with stuff. I can add a little vibrating thing on the front. You've got a vibrating jig, you know, so you can kind of use all three of those in the fall to find fish and whatever you're most confident in.
Scruffles has a pretty good question there. You might want to hit Debo.
What time? Say, is it a recent one?
Yeah, it's down there above Tanner.
Yeah, right above Tanner. Yep.
Scruffles. Here it is. What lures are good for ponds that don't have shad or bait fish? Ooh, good question. Just bluegill, crawl, crappie, etc. What do you think? What do you guys throw? Randy, I already know what you're going to say. Jig.
Yeah, I'm throwing my chatterbait.
Chatterbait?
Yeah, I'm going to throw my chatterbait first usually, and because, you know, they make so many great bluegill type colors, and that's what I'll throw first. But, you know, even if you're on a pond that doesn't have shad or bait fish, it doesn't have white fish, nothing white, you can still throw plenty of white lures out there, like this white spinnerbait. It's amazing how they'll eat it. They absolutely will.
Yeah, for sure. And that's like, go ahead.
So I was just going to say, I always find it weird that, like, you can throw a lure in a pond or a lake or whatever, and there's no natural forage like that lure around whatsoever. And sometimes those lures just kind of work, like you were saying, like a white lure, for whatever reason, that just kind of pops. It's a little bit different. It's whatever, and it just works, you know?
Yeah. You know, there's something funny about that. You hear the term match the hatch, match the hatch, match the hatch. And that's true. You know, matching the hat's a great idea, but fish eat anything that looks edible. You know,
opportunistic predators. Yep.
Yeah. So that's a great point.
Let's see. So Tanner, since we're and Scruffles, I mean, we've kind of covered everything. A swim jig, I've always had good luck with. Chatterbait, like an underspin, especially in the ponds. I usually go with like a belly weighted, like a owner. Is it flashy swimmer? I want to say is what they're called. It's essentially like a weedless underspin. So it's like a you know, like an owner beast hook where you screw it in the front of it and then put the hook so it's on top of it as opposed to an exposed hook. You know, usually when I'm fishing around that stuff from the bank, I like those sort of hooks better. And we've had luck on, you know, last fall we had luck on that. Randy and I did throwing spinner baits, throwing swim jigs.
Yeah, I really like you know, kind of a skirtless swim jig head, or like a swim bait head, you know, that kind of thing. Or really the underspin is really, like you were saying, one of those really kind of go-to ones, just because in my opinion there's so much more of a better bang for your buck. Because if whatever isn't working, whatever trailer you have on there, just pull one off and throw another one on there. If you have something that's skirted, you're going to have to untie or cut it off, tie up a new one, the whole 9 there. So for me anyway, I kind of look for those baits that are easier, because I don't want to sound like I'm lazy, but I'm kind of lazy when it comes to that. It's like, oh, I probably should retie that. There's some nicks in the line, but let me cast it a couple more times and see what happens. You know, basically, if I can just pull off a trailer and throw a new one on and it's entirely different looking bait, I'm probably going to go with something like that.
Yeah.
If you want easy too, MEP spinners and rooster tails work great in ponds. You know, they really do.
That was actually another thing that I read on that article. Whoever sent me that from Wired to Fish was don't count out. It was the old crap, I forget the name of it. It looks like a bullet weight, like a painted bullet weight with the spinner around it.
Yeah, like a fox lures.
Was it a fox? Yeah, like a blue fox or whatever.
A blue fox, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was a blue fox. They said don't underestimate those and count those out, especially when those shad are so small. That's one of the best things to mimic it. I'm like, damn, that's a good point. Like I don't ever throw those anymore. And it's
I'll tell you another fish that works. The blue fox works great on pike.
The big ones.
They freaking love it. The big ones will inhale that thing.
Yeah, I need to tie one of those on. Actually, so Tanner said we need to restock of the little plopper, the Debo little plopper. Tanner, I am working on a batch. I am moving in about 15 different ways, it seems like these days, but I will try to get some up. So thank you so much for the support, and everybody else who has bought Debo lures and supported. That means a lot to me. Here's one that I actually just started getting some stuff ready. Has anyone tried the mini A-rig? Funny you should say so. I'm going to pull a Tackle Junkie here. This is one I was showing the other night because I threw one of these in my bag for tomorrow. There's 2 versions. This is actually I got from Bass Geek, or he told me about these. It's called Shane's Baits Mini Finesse, and this is a little 5-wire, but you can see this is no bigger than a regular spinner bait. Now here in Iowa, make sure you check wherever you're fishing because certain states have regulations. You can only have 1 wire or 1 hook. Like we can have 2 here, but this is no bigger than, oh, here's a frog. For example, there's a frog next to it. So it's no bigger than a frog. There's the wires right here. So I'm going to try one of these. Bass Geek swears by it because he uses A-rigs and stuff. And I'm like, Hank, I don't have any sort of confidence on those damn things. Like around here in Iowa, I'm not going to be throwing something that looks like my grandma's chandelier. He's like, dude, they've got mini ones. He's like, that'd be perfect for Iowa. He's like, literally just throw it like a spinner bait. And I'm like,
what do you, I guess, how do you connect the ones that you're not putting hooks on?
So like I'm going to use they call it a
screw.
Yep. Yeah. Like one of those owner centering pins. I'm just going to use those and then just put those on the top. So it'll just be like a centering pin screwed into it. And it's just a lure with no hook or anything on it. So.
Oh, somebody just commented, Debo, throw one of those in for Dizzle. Oh, they just deleted it. I don't know what happened there. That's weird.
I'll throw one in for you, Randall. I got you covered. Like Mr.Bass was saying, him and his buddy, when you buy multiples. Yep. I usually buy multiples, and Randy does the same thing. So we think on the same line. Let me see here. So that was, I saw something else come up. Texas Longhorns, swim baits. I did see, holy crap, Brady said, my guy Brady said, thanks for teaching me how to fish. Brady, much love, brother. I've got a special box for you. He just had a little fishing partner join his family. So congratulations on the mini. Cool. I can't wait to hook you up with the box. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised.
I throw that Flash Mob Junior. It's small and it's got little blades on it, and you can put 3 hooks on ours here, and it works really good as well. and it doesn't look like it's any bigger than the one you showed there on the screen.
Okay.
I just saw
Yeah,
this or that there, Debo.
Oh, hold on. Let's see.
Yeah,
Let me get to it. I'm going to scroll. So somebody was saying buzzbait. Yep, buzzbaits at the start of fall. Not so much later fall. I don't really have as much luck on them. But like right now, kind of when you're in that transition, buzzbaits usually work well for me. And for whatever reason, like around riprap for me, like I've always had really good luck on buzzbaits.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I know it's kind of like you can do grass lines or around, flooded timber or, really anywhere. But like for whatever reason for me, like buzzbaits when it starts to get cooler around riprap, I don't know. There might be something to it if they're hugging to those rocks because they're a little warmer, or I don't know. But yeah, buzzbaits and riprap. Same for poppers, I feel like.
Yeah.
Poppers usually is like shallow wood, shallow isolated cover, but I don't know if it's kind of a bank thing where you're paralleling the bank and it. I don't know. I don't have the same luck with like walking baits. Like to me, walking baits are more of a boat lure. So I don't know. I got a cool lure? A cool lure in the Florida Tackle Club box this month. Have you ever seen this Savage Gear prop walker? I have not.
Let me show you. Yeah, let me show you. This is kind of crazy. Oops, I dropped it.
Uh-oh.
It doesn't have a hook in the front. Here's the front. It's got like a little popping cup there.
Oh, I thought I had a hook there. Okay.
But it's got a hook here, and then it's got a hook that sticks out on the back. And then look at this. It's got these blades that you can pop out.
Oh, yeah, I remember seeing that a long time ago. Yeah.
You can leave them in and just fish it like a normal spook, or you can fish it and then it spins. I've never tried it, but I thought, wow, and this is a good color around. This is a good fall color right here.
This was mind blown down there.
Very shady looking.
That's cool. Yeah, I remember seeing that a long time ago, but honestly, there's so many cool baits. That one kind of slipped my mind, but yeah, that's neat.
It's called a prop walker by Savage Gear.
Huh? Yeah, because it looks like a cane walker or like a Lucky Craft gunfish when you have them in.
Yeah, it does. The only thing that's kind of odd is the way. I mean, it's for this prop. You know how this thing has to stick so far out.
Yeah,
but yeah,
that's pretty cool.
I think it's a good fall lure, fall fishing.
How does that cup mouth work though when you've got the prop behind it? I almost feel like it would does it jack it up?
Cancel it out?
Well, yeah. I don't know, because it might be just like any kind of a prop style bait, that you can just twitch.
Oh, okay.
And when you twitch it, you'll still get some action on this thing here, or you could just do a steady retrieve, I bet, and just. So
that's what I wondered if it would mess with it if you tried a steady. But yeah, just like popping it, I bet would be good too.
Yeah.
Cool. Good share. I like it. Let's see. I did see my guy Randall Pink Floyd talking about painting baits. Mr. Pink Floyd, sir, you need to hit me up. I haven't talked to you for a minute on Instagram. Hit me up. I still owe you some cool old lures that are painted up. So hit me up. But anyway, he said, Dizzle top 5 baits for fall. Finesse jig, spinner bait, anything from the Cougans, kilt jig, and number 1 is lettuce. And then after he puts the lettuce on his hook, he's asked me to smell his fingers. Smell this lettuce. This stink. No, I don't want to smell it.
Why does lettuce smell so chemically? It's gross.
Chemically. Okay, what else do we have? Have I missed any donations, man? I feel like we're starting to get off the crazy train here. Ray, another one from Ray. Thank you, Ray. Are you a fan of going for striped bass hybrids? If so, any tips? Seems like the only thing biting in my area outside catfish. Absolutely. I actually went on my John boat a while back. If you remember that plopper video where I was throwing that black whopper plopper, I caught one hybrid. I was hoping I was going to get on a bunch that night because they're a hell of a lot of fun to catch. Love catching them. Little grubs. I know everybody around here usually fishes Manners for them and catches them. In fact, I was at a lake. Yep, throwing the old Manor in a bobber, and it was a couple folks in their lawn chairs, and old gal had this fish hooked. I watched her fight it, And I was fishing the other side of it. This is when one of the big lakes here was drained. So bank access was amazing fishing that lake because it was so low for renovation and such. So I was going around fishing some of the spots that you couldn't get to before. And there was actually like kind of a buried point. And I fished that for I don't know how long. And I started going back up the other side to work my way back to the car to go home. And old girl yells at a guy in a kayak. Is like, "Hey, can you help me? We had this fish on and it got stuck out there." So old boy, paddles up. She gives him the rod. He goes out and frees it. He's like, "Oh man, this feels good." So he takes up to her. She fights it in, and that fish, it was like a 8 or 9 pound wiper that she caught.
Really?
Monster.
Wow.
Yeah, they took it home and ate it. It was not them, but the other people that were buying. They're like, "Are you going to keep it?" They're like, "Yeah, you can keep it." They're all.
Oh my goodness!
And that fish was stuck on that one. I don't know how, but she got it stuck out there. That fish was on there for probably an hour. And
wow.
I'm like, dude, if that was me, I don't know how you have this kind of luck, but it was crazy. They're a lot of fun. They get big.
I mean, on principle alone, if he's stuck for an hour, you should be like, dude, you earned your freedom right now.
Buddy, or they probably looked at it the other way. You were dumb enough to stand there. You had an hour to get out of here and go free. Yeah, I see both sides, but yeah, they're a ton of fun. Small walking baits, even like a grub, like a little 2 or 3 inch grub, they'll hit a minnow or a walking. Did I say walking baits? They throw like walking baits around here for them to hit them.
What do they have at McBride?
Wiper. Yep.
I mean, I've caught those on like just regular bass stuff.
Yeah, you can use regular crankbaits,
stuff like that.
Yeah, guys will throw crankbaits and stuff too. There's a bunch of different ways you can. I don't know how to specifically target them. The day I was out there catching them, the exact same day, I was throwing a naked buzzbait and catching schoolies of them, and they were all like 1.5 to maybe 2 pound was the biggest I caught that day, but they were like all 1.5 pounders. Hella fun. I mean, it looked like bubbling water, and you were just throwing out there chasing them, and boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
So they're a lot of fun. I would love to fish for them more, but I don't really know how to target them outside of you see them schooling, chasing bait, and throwing them. So, but yeah, they're a ton of fun.
Yeah, I'm not a huge striper fisherman, but I have done it a few times. I went down to Lake Texoma and fished down there, and really fun. I mean, they fight. They are fighters.
Yeah, I couldn't even imagine catching like the big, like actual stripers. Like we have the hybrids here. It's like a white bass striper hybrid looking thing.
Yeah.
And we have white bass too.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine catching like those big, huge stripers they catch out there. That'd be crazy.
I know.
Yeah, I know. The only time I've run into them, the only time I've ever run into them is me and old Johnny were out fishing a tournament at McBride. We weren't even gonna weigh because we were like, there's no way in heck that our little fish, our 3 or 4 little bass that we have would do anything. I'm like, okay, let's go away. And we ended up getting, because they flight them around here. So I think we ended up getting first in the second flight. So whatever our 3 or 4 bass were was enough too. But I remember I hooked into a good one. And old Johnny's just like, what the hell are you doing? Why? You knew what those fish were. Why are you throwing out there to them? And I was like, I haven't caught anything, and I wanted to catch something.
The tug is the drug. I need my drug. We've got all kinds of fun stuff. I'm looking through here. So Cecil asked, do you have a special kit for doing reel maintenance? What do you use for reel maintenance? I still need to do a live reel maintenance. Like, I think that would be fun. I remember some people brought that up a while back, but I got the Category 5 bearings. Those guys were nice enough to send me one of their little reel kits, and it's super handy. Like, it's got your bearing removal tool. It's got, Randall was doing some
nice.
Reel maintenance right before. So theirs is really cool. Look them up, Category 5 bearings, and if you need bearings, they've got them. Also, Scott over at Spool Speed, hit him up. Super nice guy. I'm not sponsored by him. Nothing like that. He's just a nice guy that I met. I've told that story a few times back at Bassmaster Classic, and he was one of the few guys that took every bit of his time to talk to me. He'd tell me about his product. Super nice, good dude. Where there were other booths that I went to from bigger companies who acted like I was a thorn in their side for even talking to him. So
I've got a kit that I put together that I could show you.
Yeah, for sure. Show and tell. I love it.
Let me run grab it.
While you're grabbing that, the only thing that I'll say is I don't really have a kit or anything like that. But the one thing I do have is any of my oils that I have or lubrication for my reels, put those into a Ziploc bag, even if you think that they're never going to leak. Luckily, this one, it's why I put tape around the outside, leaked a lot into the Ziploc bag that I happen to have it in. And I carry the majority of my stuff in one like tote container. And had I not done that, there would have been so many bags, soft plastics, things like that, that would just been fully covered in oil. Just not much leaked out of there, but the way that that stuff coats and adheres and sticks to everything, it just would have been a massively huge mess. So throw that kind of stuff, or your like spigots, your dips and things like that, throw that in their own container so it doesn't bleed over.
Good call.
So I got this.
Oh, cool.
And it's just a Plano box, but it's got pretty much everything you need in it that it's got reel guard, and it's got reel oil. I've got alcohol that I use to clean a lot of stuff with my Q-tips. I've got brushes, toothbrushes basically in here. There's, of course, tons of different reel oils and reel oil tools. I've got little miniature screwdrivers. I got tips of rod tips and tons of Q-tips. That's your most important tool, the Q-tip.
All the goodies.
Yeah. Bearings.
Some Bocas.
Yeah. And this is I don't know if somebody gave me this idea or what, but it's been really nice just having everything kind of all together in one little kit. So I think better than trying to buy a kit is just make your own.
Yeah, piece it together. I see you've got some of the Shimano grease in there, the little white tub. That's the best. Yeah, it's for sure the best.
I actually used one of these today as well. It's just like a little pick.
Yes.
And those for me, when I was trying to get a Q-tip in there into those really small corners, but you have to be super careful because like the tip of this is pretty pokey. You don't want to, stab something you probably shouldn't. But one of these works, and something like this works just as well if you want to keep it in your tackle bag to help you pick out birds' nests and stuff too.
Good call. Yeah, absolutely. So Daniel with the 10 bomb said, in the fall, do you tend to change your rod and reel setup, rod action, rod speed reels? Great question. Yeah, we haven't even gotten to really any gear talk. What do we have for time? Well, we're only at 8:30. We got
almost an hour.
Okay, so for fall, I don't necessarily change up based on going from like spring to summer to fall. I always change up based on whatever I feel is going to fit that lure. So one thing that I will go into, which I haven't even talked about yet, and to me that's kind of a later fall, when it really starts to get cool, like 50 degrees, is a jerkbait. One thing that I will for sure change up, for the longest time, I never had a short rod for jerkbait, so I always use like a 7.2. Those are like my favorite all around, and I never used to have anything shorter than that because back in the day, all I had was super short stuff, and I never really threw a jerkbait back in the day. And after I upgraded, I had 7-8 years ago, whatever that's been, getting some of my stuff, all like 7.2s, but I just finally, I don't know what, 3-4 years ago, Randy, got a dedicated jerkbait rod that's 6.8 I got, and a 6.10, and it's a game changer for fishing from the bank. And I don't say game changer on a lot of stuff, but on the boat you can get away with that, because when I would fish with my dad, 7 foot 7.2 on the boat's not a big deal because you're working off the platform down. When you're on the bank, I don't know, Daniel, if you're fishing from the bank or not, but like a 6.8 or a 6.10 is awesome for bank fishing with the jerkbait. So I don't necessarily change up based on the time of year. I just kind of change up based on the lures.
And there's nothing wrong with fishing a jerkbait with a spinning rod.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially some of the small ones like the I'm trying to think, whatever the Rapala little 2-hook with like the feathery treble. I've got a few of those. They're so much easier. Is it an XRap? It might be an XRap. Yeah, they're just so much easier to throw on a spinning reel, on a spinning rod, because they're so light.
Yeah.
And a jerk bait is not like, it's not one of those easy lures that you can bomb like a walking bait or a lipless. Like a jerk bait can kind of get wonky, and then that's when you blow up your reel. So hopefully that helps, man. I don't know. Do you guys change up?
I don't change much. I think I might change the way I fish, but a lot of the equipment, I'm going to be using the same stuff that I always do. I mean, obviously, if I'm fishing topwater, I'm going to be fishing with a line. My line's going to be some sort of line that floats, whether it's mono or braid or one of the copolymers or something like that. So that might be something I change up, but that's about it. If I walk the dog, I like a shorter rod when I walk the dog as well. So
yep, I was just going to say that jerkbait rod will double as an awesome topwater rod too.
Yep. But other than that, not a ton of difference.
Yeah, same. The only time that I would ever consider like switching up a rod for different one is, based on surroundings and environment and stuff. There's like a lot of overhangs and stuff. I'm probably going to go with a little bit shorter of a rod because I feel more accurate, more comfortable with, casting a shorter rod.
Yeah, so Rich brought up a good point. He was answering, I don't know what the original question was, but he said, for me, I rarely use any finesse in the fall, mostly power fishing. That's mainly what I do too. When you're getting really good bites and those fish are really eating, I'm mostly looking for active fish, power fishing, moving baits, until we get to the real cold. And Randy and I will downsize. Well, he won't downsize. He'll still throw his finesse jigs and kick my butt. But as it gets colder, I'll go to more of a finesse, like a really small. Actually, MrBass sent me one of these. The Kitech mono spin jig. That's been a couple years ago. Rady and I were out, and I caught a 5-pounder on this when it was 40. The water was 40 degrees. So 40 something degrees, and I caught like a 5 on one of those little guys, or a Ned rig, like a Ned rig, a little shaky head. But for me, like a Ned rig was always my go-to as it starts to get real cold later fall. But right now, like going from late summer into fall, when those fish are really bulking and feeding, water temp today was like 74. As we start to get down and it starts to clock into those 60s, man, they're going to be eating. It's time to go. So, yeah,
Debo, I just have to remind you that sooner or later, not only am I going to cut your line when you have a big fish on, but you're getting Spartan kicked into the water. I'm just saying.
This is Sparta. Oh, Randall, you wouldn't do that to me. Bassel's chap in the house did say at Dizzle, mend it. Yep. Oh, and I did. Oh, and I forgot to bring him, Randy. I've got a mend it present for you tomorrow. You're gonna get a kick out of it.
That's probably good. I don't. Never mind. I'm not gonna say it out loud because. Never mind.
So, Mr. Bass, what do you do for a bottom lure? We've got. I'll probably go for another 15 minutes here. 8:45. In the fall, do you throw like a jig? Do you have a dedicated jig you throw? Ned rig? Is there anything you like for bottom?
Yeah, I'm usually throwing a jig is what I'm throwing, and I'm not throwing I'm usually not throwing a shad colored jig. It's usually going to be, funny enough, it might just be the waters that I fish. Usually in the fall, I throw a black and blue jig, and I've got several types that I use. The Pro Spider jig from Jewel Baits I really like a lot, and
Pro Spider jig from Jewel Baits. I don't know that I've heard it all. Let me go ahead. Keep talking. I'm gonna nerd out and find it here.
Yeah. And I also like the Dirty Jigs flipping jig. I throw it quite a bit. And it's more about trailers and stuff, I'd say, than it is the jig in the fall. But I'm still throwing a pretty solid jig. Now, the thing I like about the Pro Spider jig is it's beefy enough. They make a 7/16 ounce model that's still beefy enough that it's a pretty big bite, but it still can look very finessey when you need it to look finessey. It has an O'Shaughnessy bend hook, which really works great.
Those are cool.
And they also come, all of the Jewel Baits jigs come with built-in rattle keepers, rattle collars. And I like putting my rattles on my jigs, so I like that. They also make one with a wire weed guard, and
you got the little 3/16 ounce has a wire. It shows.
Yeah.
Versus the heavier.
You can get, you used to be able to get the 5/16 and the 7/16 with the wires, and I got a bunch of those. I still prefer the wire. Most people don't like the wire. Well, around here they prefer the regular fiber weed guard.
Huh.
Those are great baits, and man, the hookup ratio on those things is amazing. They're really, really good jigs.
Yeah, Randall. I know Randall's a fan of the old War Eagles. He swears by them. I've seen him.
Yeah,
slap me around with the War Eagles.
I mean, right. I did, just yesterday, but the day before I was out fishing too, and I don't remember what kind of jig. I think you were saying, I don't remember what kind of jig it was. It doesn't matter either way, but there's a line, and I think War Eagle crosses that line in a really good way with the stoutness of their hook. Like the jig I was throwing the day before, so 2 days ago, I was literally on, I don't know if it was the hook sets or a snag something, but I had my full jig hook bent out. I sent Debo a little clip picture of it, and I was like, man, the War Eagle does a great job on their hooks. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, they have a little bit meatier hook. That's the cool thing about the War Eagles is you can throw them in all kinds of stuff. There's Gabe, 10 Horse Monty. Gabe, I need to get you on for next week. Hit me up. I don't know if you're still on or not. I've been saying I'm going to get you on, and I haven't been able to hook up with you. If you're still on, let's get you on for next week. But yeah, the War Eagles, Randy and I were just talking about that. They allow you to fish it on, because he fishes it on a baitcaster, and some of the real little finesse things you have to fish on a spinning. Well, I shouldn't say you have to fish on a spinning rod. I would highly recommend you to fish on a spinning rod, something like this. I mean, these mono spin jigs are tiny. You can see the size of my thumb next to it.
Mm-hmm.
That hook is so small, the wire, whereas, something like the War Eagles or some of these other ones, they have a pretty stout hook, so you can still fish. It's almost like a power finesse, I guess I'd say. It's not like a little tiny Ned rig hook.
Have you ever fished what's called the zero gravity jig?
Is that the one that floats?
This thing came in my
this thing came in my
mystery tackle box, and I've never seen it before. But
is that an acrylic head? Does it say it's got an acrylic head on it?
Let's see, a lead-free jig head design, and it's designed to fall 1 foot every 3 seconds, which is super slow.
Dude, that's your topwater jig. I was talking to somebody. I think it was Baxter.
I don't have it handy.
Oh my gosh!
All I got still the.
What is it called? Zero gravity?
Yeah, it's called zero gravity jig. And when I got it into my box, I was like, "What? What do you mean a slow falling jig? That's interesting."
Does it have it on here? Does it have a company?
Catchoutdoors.com. www.catchoutdoors.com. I don't know who that is, but it's an interesting looking jig. I took it out and put it in my boat.
Oh my gosh, Randall!
Are you gonna?
Whoops!
I don't know. I don't even know. Like, what's the difference between that and like a
your typical jig's gonna fall about
Senko,
Oh well,
it's a jig. It's a jig you can fish topwater, dude.
Yeah, it's a bulky presentation, man.
Oh my god, I'm gonna get a whole scat of these, and you can literally go jig topwater. I can swim a jig. I can fish a jig topwater. I can fish a jig on the bottom. You can boil it. You can drill it.
Yeah, very interesting.
Okay, there it is. Yeah,
I have seen guys opening up the mystery tackle boxes and showing these things off. They looked really big. But big as in like the skirt, the way the skirt came, it looked like really flared out in the package.
Trim it up like you do your little haircuts on the War Eagles.
Yeah,
with your handy scissors.
Yeah, that usually,
MrBass, if you don't keep scissors in your truck, they are so handy. I'll tell you, so handy.
God, doesn't my thing cut off here pretty soon?
It's like an hour 30. I think it'll kick you out here.
Yeah, something around there.
Oh, Ben's in here too.
Anything's topwater if you reel it fast enough, according to Ray EV.
Ben said, I'm picking up some tungsten finesse open water jigs to play with this fall. Some tungsten finesse open water jigs. Those are like skirtless or what? I don't.
That sounds interesting.
Finesse open water jigs to play with this fall. I don't know if that'd be like a Ned rig or if he's talking about like a jig with, I don't know. Sounds cool. I don't know what it is, Ben, but that sounds fun. I'm interested. I always see you catching toad smallmouth up there, so you definitely know your crap. Let's see. What else do we have here? There was another question that I saw roll through. I don't know if you guys see anything fun. Nolan's Baits in the house. Talk about a young man who was frickin' talented at making baits. Check out his page. He's hand making all the stuff, hand painting. Young man has a ton of talent. Ray.
Cool.
Ray with the donation said, "Oh, that's where you're saying anything.
Yeah.
Anything is topwater if you reel fast enough." Yeah, that's true. I mean, I suppose. I think the slow sink zero gravity jigs would do it for you, though. You put like a big frog on the back of that or something. Oh my gosh, Randizzle catching topwater jig fish. I could create a monster here. What else? Let's see. Mr. Ramon Outdoors. Hey, fellas, buying my first yak this week. Any tips for a first timer? Mr. Bass can definitely help you here.
Strap everything down.
Yeah, that's a good place to start. It's a sit-on-top pedal kayak. Do you have any tips for a sit-on-top paddle kayak first-timer?
I definitely would. I mean, I don't know if you're fishing ponds or lakes, or if you're fishing moving water, you need to really be careful about anchoring. You can get yourself in trouble and flip yourself over really quick if you're in a lot of current. Another thing you can do in a lot of current that can really hurt you is if you get snagged, you can break a rod really quick or float into your rod and then dump your kayak because you've floated into your rod. That boat maneuverability is the biggest pain in the rear when it comes to a kayak, which is why a pedal kayak is highly preferred over paddling. You say sit on top paddle kayak. I don't know if that has pedals or not, but if it doesn't have...
I'm sorry. That was me being dyslexic in reading. I thought it said pedal.
I don't know. If it has pedals, then that gives you so much more control and maneuverability. If not, I would definitely practice with your paddle for a while because it can go ugly quick.
Yeah, that stuff scares me.
And then just keep everything.
I feel like the
strapped
pedals,
down.
like the pedals and current, you would have to make sure where you stopped your pedals at, right? So they're, I don't know if even is good or like off-centered is better, or I feel like
well,
if
the
you're
beauty
not
of
a certain way, you're gonna
the
get in
beauty
trouble
of
that way too, right?
the beauty of pedals in the current is you can actually pedal even upstream into the current, and
Sure.
pedals just give you the ability to really control much better. It's when you turn sideways that you get in trouble in a kayak where you can turn over.
Debo, you should get a kayak and let's go out to the river and see what happens.
Here's another thing that's super obvious, but you don't think about it until you get in a kayak, and that is you will always get wet in a kayak. Always. You're gonna get wet. So just keep that in mind. It's gonna happen. Whether it's warm weather, cold weather, you're gonna get wet.
When they say on top of, that's where your seat is versus where the water is. So if this is your top of your kayak, below the water is like down here versus above has more like a pedestal, I guess you could say, on it, right?
Yep. A sit on top is going to have a seat that sits above the water line, where the old school sit in kayaks have like a hole that you sit down in and put your feet down in.
It's more like a whitewater rafter guy kind of vibe to it. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, he said no pedals. I will be using a paddle. Yeah, sorry, man. That's just me sucking at reading. PA is paddle, not pedal.
Yeah. Be sure you strap your paddle, attach your paddle to the boat, or get a paddle that floats.
That's a good call. Or like a leash, tie a leash to it or something. Yeah, you'd be up a creek without a paddle if you lost that.
Literally.
I was just gonna say, there's a saying that goes along with that, right?
You will dump the kayak over too. It's going to happen at some point. It's going to flip over.
See, that just makes me want no part of a kayak. And like you said, being wet, I hate. 8 out of 10 hate. It's not a 10 out of 10, but it's pretty close to having anything wet feet. I hate sandals. I hate Crocs. I like wearing tennis shoes and socks, and that just doesn't sound fun to me.
Yeah,
I don't want any part of scupper holes scuppering in water on me. And
gotcha.
I don't know. I've got an aluminum kayak. It's 11 feet long. Some people call them John boats. I don't get what it is at all. It's great. It's got a motor.
Definitely drier.
Let's see. Oh, Texas Longhorn did ask, Kiss the reel holding up? It is holding up so far. Yep, I like it. I love the rod. The reel, I need to open the reel because somebody was saying, and I noticed it was kind of a little bit noisy at first. I had to oil it, but somebody said they don't come oiled or greased, which I found really weird.
Yeah, that is
said,
weird.
Yeah, you look at the manual and they have like a deal on their website where you can like lube it. And I'm like, so I don't know. I need to look into that more, but so far it's holding up. I put a little bit of oil on it. I like it. Love the rod. The KLX rod is freaking awesome. I
really like Kistler rods. Have you ever tried their feel and reel rods?
I haven't. Is that like the crankbait series?
Yeah. It's like 2/3 of the blank is graphite, and then the top third is glass. And that graphite glass combination, man, makes a great crankbait rod. And I've got several of those. I really like them.
Yeah, I want to try one. I think Jim Tackle Junkie just got one. He was telling me about it.
Yeah, they are sweet. Really like them.
Oh, Dersh. My guy Dersh is in here. Always donates. This is the type of folks that follow me and donate every week. Dersh always donates. And I always say, are you working nights or not? But yes, he is. He works 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. on Saturdays, which stinks. But he says, I get to catch you on my break. So, dude, thanks for always donating. Thanks for watching me on the break and taking time to watch and donate while you're working and such. That is awesome, man. I appreciate that a lot. Let's see. Let's each pick out one more question, and then we're going to call it a night. I'm sorry I didn't have a giveaway or anything planned. I'll try to get one up next week. I'm behind on giveaways. Again, I said I wouldn't be that way. I've seen it's actually been from about a month ago. I announced some winners on videos, and I still haven't got those out to people. I'm sorry if you're watching. Feel free to hit me up and bug me, but I will get those out soon. So, okay. Let's each pick a question. Have you seen anything? Or if you have a random question you want to ask too, we can play that.
I kind of got a random one.
Yeah, what do you got?
Debo, what time are we fishing tomorrow?
I'll talk to you after, nerd. That was Nathan Hobie said that, and somebody else said that Mr. Bass, you should hit up Greg Blanchard. That dude's a stud out in the California.
Oh my gosh, he is. I would love.
You know him?
I don't know.
Is he pretty big? Like he must be like pretty famous or something. Like in the kayak.
He's very well known in the kayak world, and he's got a big channel like yours. He's got over 100 subs. Oh, okay. And he's a California guy, and fishes the Delta a lot. And he's a very good fisherman. And most of his videos tend to be kayak fishing videos. It's good content.
Gotcha. Yeah, somebody sent me one of his and said you should hook up with him. And I'm like, this dude looks like a pro in his frickin' whatever he's in. I've not ever watched him, but I had Alex Rudd actually just mention him too. Said he's a really nice guy. I'm not in the kayak scene. I'm so far out of the kayak scene. I don't know anything about it. I'm an imbecile when it comes to kayak stuff. But
I've never seen him on a live stream. I don't know if he would do one of those or not, but that would be interesting.
Oh, probably not with me because he'd be like, "Oh, you have a sweet Hobie?" I'm like, "Yeah, I have this old aluminum kayak." He'd be like, "Nerd." Wouldn't even talk to me.
It kind of leaks every once in a while.
No, oh no, dude, I fixed it. I got dry toesies now.
You JB welded it, huh?
JB welded it. So Jesse G, thanks for the awesome content. Well, Jesse, thanks for the 10 bomb. I appreciate you, brother, and everybody else who donates. Appreciate that a lot, my friend. Yeah, we're still at almost 250 viewers. You guys are awesome. Yeah, Sean Z asked, is Baxter streaming tonight as well? Yep, he's streaming in 9 minutes. So everybody from my channel, go flood him. I'm hopping off here in just a couple. And I will be on his channel. So go flood it. Let's go talk baits.
Heck yeah.
What else do we have? Mr. Bass, do you have one? Mr. Bass, anything else you want to say for being on here? Thanks for hopping on my live with us.
Oh, I really loved it. Thanks for the invite. I really appreciate it. I love your channel and your content. It's great. You're great for the fishing community, and it's good to have gotten to know you some. I really appreciate that. I do a live stream every Sunday night, so if anybody wants to tune in on that Sunday night at 8 o'clock, the Mr. Bass channel, and I do my little spin to win game. Give away.
That was a bunch of fun, dude. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of wanted to steal some of those ideas because that was fun. I was on with Mr. Bass last week, and he has this sweet. Do you have the wheel by you?
Yeah, I got it.
Check this out. So he does like the cool, fun, old school, like spin the wheel Jeopardy style.
Yeah.
And gives away bait. He has a whole bunch of like bait boxes you can choose from when you win. Like, it was really fun. It was a cool thing. And I was like, I need to do something like that because one, I'm horrible at putting giveaways together. And he was like, oh, you want this and this? And he's already got it. And he was writing down the winner. I'm like, damn, this guy is organized and I am not. So I might have to steal something like that or hire Nick. I don't know if Fat Boy's in here anymore. I haven't seen him on. Just hire somebody to run my giveaways. I might just give him money and do that.
That's another way to do it.
I am so far behind. Randall, you looking for a giveaway manager job?
I would get stuff mailed out on time.
Sean's Will of Torture.
Oh God. Okay, so Jesse, thank you very much. We've got a few donations just come bombing in here real quick. Let's get through these, and hopefully a couple of them are questions, and we'll end on a good fun note with donations and questions. Okay, Jesse, thanks for the awesome content. I see a bunch of people. There must be a bunch of entry guys. I need to look into Greg. There's a bunch of guys saying, yeah, that'd be awesome. Cool. Kyle with a 20 bomb. Damn, Kyle. Thank you, brother. Just showing some love. Well, fist bump, brother. Thank you very much for the donation. I appreciate that a lot. Helps me, helps the channel. Let's see. Another Ray. Ray, thank you so much for the multiple donations tonight. When you come out to Cali and fishing the Delta? So out west with Chris and Matt are out there, who I would love to go with. Randy and I would love to go out there and fish with those guys. We could meet up with you, Ray. They fish the Delta. Great spot for frogs, dude. I wouldn't
know what to do with my hands.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd just be like, I'll watch.
I thought you meant so much fun. Like, yeah, I wouldn't know what to do with my hands because it'd be so much fun.
Hey, jig fishing on the Delta, man. If you like fishing the jig.
War Eagles?
Well, I think that's what Mr. Bass is saying. Is jig fishing good on the Delta?
Heck yes, it is, man. There's a guy that I've fished with. He just passed away a couple of years ago, but he's a real famous jig fisherman, and he got his name. His whole reputation is Cooch. Cooch is his name, and Cooch is a very famous jig fisherman. Old school. All the old school anglers know him, and that's all he does is throw a jig out there. And I've fished with him a couple times, and boy, you can catch some huge fish out there on jigs. Jigs and drop shots is what a lot of guys throw.
Oh, God. I'll stick with the frogs. Yeah, jigs are fun, too.
A lot of topwater fish out there, too, man. Whopper plopper used to be really big out there. I don't know if it is right now, but it used to be huge out there.
Let's see. All
right,
I think
I've seen this guy before. This Cooch?
Andy Cuccia. I just
Googled him real quick.
Andy Cuccia, he actually I think he had a heart attack and died a couple years ago. But the dude is a jig master. He's a jig master.
Looks like I found somebody to look up to.
Heck yeah.
I know you're going to say that. Okay, Top Cat with the donation, $5 bomb. Said, when are you dropping some new baits? Hopefully soon, man. I am so sorry. I've got some fun stuff coming down the pipe. I've got some glide baits, some Tiny Clash replica type looking things that are like a 99% match to the Tiny Clash, which should be awesome because I know those are going for crazy money. I see you have a Clash sign back there. Are you a Clash fan, Mr. Bass?
Dude, I love the Clash, but they're so freaking expensive.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. They've gotten out of hand.
And the Clash, I got a Clash in my hand on the show. That was very painful. This hook, well, the hook that used to be here. Yeah, the hook that used to be here, I had to cut it off, but it went right in my hand during the live stream. That was painful.
And he pulled it out with his teeth on the live stream and just spit it out.
Actually, I did get it on video. I had to say, the live stream's done. But then I did videotape it, and I used the old braid trick, to jerk it out of my hand.
Yep.
But so yeah, this is the Clash, and this is the Tiny Clash right here.
Yeah, I got some of those to paint up. Yep, there it is.
These are sweet. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, everybody go follow Mr. Bass. Super nice guy. As you can see, he is a bait nut like so many people that I talk to on here.
Oh, yeah.
Wealth of knowledge. And like I tell you, the bass fishing community, you can always learn stuff from people. So that's what's fun is having all these different folks on who fish different ways, different places, and just, learn from them and adapt it to your area. Don't be afraid to try that stuff. So
Right on.
that's it. Yeah, that's it from us tonight. We're going to sign out, call the night. But again, thank you all so much for joining the live stream. Everybody who donated, thank you all. Mr. Randizzle, Mr. Bass, thank you so much for joining tonight.
Heck yeah. Have a good one.
Yeah.